publicize it as a summary as opposed to the whole thing.
Who wants to introduce that?
Go ahead.
Introduced by Councilman Hanfler. Planning Commission recommendations, variance requests, side yard setback, Ritters Thompson Olson, Public Works Director.
And I know this evening we've got Rocky and Troy from the applicants here this evening in regards to a sign. They own the Ritters Thompson Olson out on the north side of town here, right behind the radio station. They are requesting a setback variance to a sign on their property. Their original application had a couple of different ones in there. We tabled the one in terms of off-premise signs. The request or the recommendation from the Planning Commission is to grant a 0 setback requirement for the sign that's on premise currently, or to place a sign on premise with a 0 setback. Because currently the setback requirement is 10 feet in their particular district. By doing that, that would put that sign basically in the middle of their driveway. And so the thought on the Planning Commission was to allow the 0 setback. That would move it off to the side so they could still maintain the driveway that they currently use. And I'm not sure, Troy or Rocky, if you want to add anything to that, or if that pretty well sums it up.
Yeah, we didn't change questions, but yes, you summarized it very well, Greg.
What's the wish of the council?
Mr. President, I so move.
Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Crowder, second by Mayor Van Risingham for the recommendation of the Planning Commission on a variance request. Any more discussion?
What was the height requirement again?
For the sign,
I know there was some sort of.
Up to 30 feet.
well, yeah, we allow up to 30 feet, but I don't think there was any discussion or there wasn't any requirements set in the Planning Commission as far as a recommendation to change where it's at. So it's up to 30 feet. The plan, or the proposal that the applicant put forward was a sign that was 8 feet,
Oh, yeah.
3 by 8.
3 by 8 and 5 feet off the ground, from what I recall. So a total of 8 feet would be the top of the sign.
But they can go up to 30.
They can go up to 30 if so wish, yes.
And where would the sign actually be placed?
It would be placed in the northeast corner of their property.
Where is that relative to the highway?
A couple seconds. I don't know if you can see that, Lauren, but this is their property right down here. Here's the bowling alley. There's an entrance road that goes in past the radio station, and it would be right in the corner of the parking lot that they own there.
So it would still be a position that people going north out of town would not be able to see the sign.
True, they've worked with the county to be able to install one of those blue directional signs off of 76. And then they would have their sign in the parking lot, so when people turn into here, then they'd be able to see that their building is in the back as opposed to the radio.
But then there would be that blue sign on the highway.
There would be the blue sign on the highway, yes. The county has indicated they would be okay with that.
Dan, did we ever hear anything about, didn't someone question a billboard that the city had on Highway 10 or? Is that?
You've got still an open issue, I think, yet with one of Franklin billboards that's coming up. That's a lease or something that's expired, but it's a year away, I think, or so.
Like September.
September of 2015.
15.
What does that have to do with this?
I was just wondering about the height requirement. I mean, that has nothing to do, that won't interfere with their moratorium on a billboard or anything.
No. That won't have anything to do with it. It's only for items that require stormwater management plan, so don't.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion carried.
Mr. President, I don't know if this is the right time or not, but
we discussed at the planning commission, we tabled as far as off-premise signs, because that was their request, is to do an off-premise sign. And if the council's interested in the planning commission looking at off-premise signs at this time, or is that, others are wasting
Oh, yeah.
time down the road if this council is in intention to grant off-premise signs?
That's a pretty dangerous area to get into, but we as a city are trying to encourage business. And yet here we're tying their hands to where they really can't do business. I think that when you have a business that is landlocked like this, that is not accessible to the public, that there has to be a way that they can advertise their services. And I can't help but think that our attorney could draft something specific to that particular thing that would not totally screw up our sign ordinance.
And I did speak briefly with Tony in regards to off-premise signs. Currently, the ordinance, as it's written, does not allow off-premise signs, even in a variance situation. So we wouldn't be able to approve an application for an off-premise sign, even with the variance, so to speak. So we would have to rewrite the ordinance if that's something the council wishes to do. But currently, there is no allowance for that feature.
But what a great, I mean, they work with the highway department. I mean, I noticed that when I'm driving, what great advertising that's going to be.
Right. And I think it's a good compromise for everybody, yes.
So when they made the request, did they pay fees for
For their variance request?
the variance request?
Yes, for the public hearing, they did, yes.
So was there, that was just one?
It was one public hearing, and it was, well, basically all of it included. And that's where it came back with the condition of the 0 setback for the on-premise sign.
So if somebody came in to make a request for variance for an off-premise sign, we wouldn't even accept their variance?
We can always hear it, but we would tell them that right now the ordinance says that there's no allowance to approve that.
So we would have to change the,
We would have to change the ordinance in order to approve any variances, yes.
and maybe that's something that the council or the new council wants to look into. Because, I mean, there are still those nonprofits that are suffering from that issue.
Item G, to send out a letter to the search superfest.